If you had your time over again, I know that we're talking in hypotheticals here, but I know one thing that's come up recently in a lot of these interviews, a lot of people have said, if I had my time over again, I would have started with the community first rather than building the product. Some people are still very much build the product first, then go out, do your customer validation, iterate, refine it, and then you hit product
Hmm.
market fit, and then you scale it up. But I've increasingly seen a different vein, and this is mostly among the bootstrappers, saying like build the audience first, build a community first, get your 1,000 true fans, get that activated first, and then you can create any number of products and sell that to your audience. And that's a flipping the whole model on its head. What are your thoughts on that?
Would I do that today? Absolutely. Would I have done that in 2018? No, because the conditions have changed.
Ooh, talk me through that.
User acquisition is now AI dominated. Here's the thing that and it's just one of those big kind of existential questions that I don't know whether or not your audience is really okay with it. I remember when ChatGPT 3.0 came out and we were building email sequences because I was still doing the weekly newsletter. And you have to build your 10,000 hours at ad copy to really get good at writing copy, to really write copy that people love and appreciate and enjoy. And ChatGPT,
This feels like a
remember that
trap, Liam.
first newsletter that went out? We ran a split test and conversion rate was just the same.
Yep.
And I had an existential crisis of, well, now my job, the thing that I am uniquely really good at, that I could probably go somewhere else and get really nice six-figure job for is over. And not and whether and it still exists today, but what I mean by that is this is the beginning of the end of that trajectory. So when you look at SEO, right now in the last year, 15% of all search terms have now switched over to Gemini. That is going to continue. SEO is essentially dead. 3 years ago, I would have told you SEO is probably the fastest way to build a bootstrapped long-term business. If you're going to own a business for more than 10 years, make it SEO be your primary user acquisition model. Now I can't tell you that. SEO, you got to spend some time on it, but fundamentally, that's not the way to be able to build it. Paid creatives are now zero cost. We just saw the new ChatGPT 4.0 image model that came out. You can generate 8,000 creatives a day if you want and test them. And very soon, if not already, I'm sure probably you would know, Ryan, better than me. There are probably SaaS tools that use that API, are wrappers for it to be able to optimize all that stuff for you and just run all these campaigns, right? To be able to make it work properly. Uh, and then lastly, is when you look at really understanding where all of these other, tertiary user acquisition strategies are coming from, email deliverability is down on average 20% in the last year. It was down 15% the previous year. The ability to be able to, conferences are down about 20% year over year. All of the old school ways of acquiring customers are getting less and less effective. And I would probably say, and I'm doing this from my perspective philosophically, is I'm buying brand equity. So as much brand equity as I can buy, I will buy it. So if you have let's take startup sauce as an example. I'd probably be able to measure how many people are searching for it on Google per month, which is how I measure brand. Like what's your branded keyword and how often are people looking at it? And then I would figure out, okay, well, I know if I buy this, I could generate X amount of revenue over the next 10 years just based off the brand because people trust startup sauce, but they're not going to trust some newcomer that just comes in that's AI focused. So what I've done is I've switched my entire strategy to I'm doing a lot more YouTube videos. I'm doing a lot more founder led growth conversations and marketing, right? Where it's like it's my personal story of how I'm building this particular company, which is on the smaller side of the spectrum. And then also secondarily, we have built a paid community inside of running remote specifically because we've recognized that that is the best lever that we currently see right now that's not going to get dominated by AI within the next 36 months. That community will still exist because there will still be human beings that are interested in that particular subject that want to learn about it. And being able to do that at scale is probably the most important thing that any single marketing person should spend their time on, because everything else is going to be automated. And that's the part that scares the shit out of me as someone who spent the last 15 years learning all of this other stuff that's now completely automated. It's like the drawbridges are all down. The moats are down for everybody because now the ability to be able to acquire a customer, I would say we're probably 6 months away from the last vestiges of the old school way of user acquisition being gone forever, which is very scary for me to think about because I'm already seeing it happen over the last 2 years.
Hey, it's Ryan here. If you liked that video, please click the like and subscribe button somewhere down there and check out the full interview right over here. Go on, click it. You know you want to.